chats. Jared's going to have a lot to say. I know that. Kicking it off right here. The logo's here. The sign's behind us. You can see we ain't got no blue on the wall because that team up north comes into town this week. First, Ohio State took care of business last weekend, getting the win over in Maryland, 43-30. It was a little closer than a 13-point win. It was kind of tight most of the way. The big game with that is Dallin Hayden had a huge game, 27 carries, 146, and 3 TDs. We're going to see if that young man can keep carrying the load. I've been very impressed with him. We've been talking about him all season. You have any quick takeaways from the Maryland game?
As always, I think the fans, they expect for, and I've been saying it for the last few weeks, the fans just expect for Ohio State to continue to annihilate teams and just do a thrashing from beginning to the end. And we know that teams have been preparing for Ohio State each and every time they step into, their home turf. And this week is going to be our home turf. And we know that team up north is preparing for us also. But we can't always expect for them to continue to put up big numbers and do it at a fast, alarming rate. So as fans, be patient. I know this is a big game. Nerves is going to be high. But as far as last week, I think we played well. Of course, we had Travion going down. We didn't have Mayan Williams, but we seen how other players were able to step up in that role. And then the attitude of next man up has to continue to be that each and every time we step onto the field. So I think they just got to continue to do what they did this past week, but do it better. Eliminate some of those penalties and false starts. You've seen a field goal blocked and returned for 2 extra points. You can't have that. You can't have those type of mistakes in this type of game with the implications being so large, because you make one mistake and there goes the neighborhood. So a flawless game is what we need to have, and hey, just go out there and keep balling.
Yeah, you got it. Notes on the Maryland game. Yeah, Lathan Ransom on defense stepped up big. You mentioned the Buckeyes having a kick blocked. Lathan Ransom shows up on special teams, blocks that punt. Great play. He showed up, had a couple of big plays on the other side. So special teams is something that's going to have to be on point, especially coming up against Michigan. And let's talk about that team up north. You mentioned next man up. Ohio State down some running backs. Dallin Hayden might have to do the work. But on the flip side, the talk of this week has been Blake Corum, the Michigan running back, probably out. It was still a little iffy this afternoon. You got to prepare for the game as if he's going to play. But it is Michigan. It's not Eastern Michigan. They're going to have a good backup running back.
Yeah, we see Blake Corum. He's like the heart and soul of their offense. He has 245 attempts this year, and the next man up on their roster is Donovan Edwards, and he only has 70. And then the following guy after that is C.J. Stokes. So, that's a big part of their offense. Corum has 18 touchdowns. So you take that away, hey, those boys in blue, those fandom, we don't want to hear any excuses, because we got down running backs too. We got to see if Travion's going to show up and if Mayan's going to be on the sideline also. But one thing they can't let is for J.J. McCarthy, the quarterback, to really start shining with Ronnie Bell. Those two start hooking up, and it's going to be a tough time. So I want to see Steel Chambers and Tommy Eichenberg really show up and dominate the entire game. JTT had one of those type of games where he had against Penn State. They're going to just need all hands on deck so that we don't have one of those JT Barrett's 4th and goal. This was that type of call. Let's annihilate these guys early, and, hey, let's party on Saturday.
You got it. Ohio State was an 8-point favorite to open up. It might move down to 7.5. The over-under is 57. I like the unders a little bit. Both defenses. This is really each team's first big test.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they can got on that end. And I'm looking for C.J. Stroud. He didn't have the best game last year against that team.
Right.
So we're going to see if the kid's matured, has grown a year, see if he can come out and shine, really put a stamp on that Heisman. And we'll see about their toughness as well. The toughness was in question after last year's loss up in the snow. It's a new day. We'll see what that team has grown and if Jim Knowles can bring some of that hard-headed edge to them. I think that defense is going to be excited for the challenge. As a defense, it's always good to play some competition. So I'm looking for the Buckeyes to get it done. 8 points might be a few too many. Michigan, Ohio State's probably going to be close, right? But the shoe's going to be rocking, that home field advantage, all those good things, and I suspect that defense can rattle McCarthy a little bit and shut down that run game. That's going to be the big one. We'll see if Ohio State can make some big plays. I did just hear Marvin Harrison Jr. is a semifinalist for the Biletnikoff Award, best receiver in the country. So definitely going to look for some plays from our superstars. You know, that's what playmakers do, right? Shine on the big stage, and this is about as big a stage as it gets. Right. Number 2, number 3, all the playoff implications in the world. You got to win to move on, because if you lose, it's going to be really tough to sneak into that CFP, and you want to have your destiny in your own hands. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. One thing, we're going to get a lot of names this week, but one name that I don't want to hear from the announcers from the side of Ohio State, listen out for this name to see if it does not happen, and that's Jesse Mirko. That's the punter for Ohio State. I don't want to see any punts from Ohio State. He only has 39 punts on this season, and I want to make sure or hope and pray that, hey, we don't get over 41. Let's get 3 and just continue to keep going. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Woody Hayes. Let's bring Woody Hayes and make him proud. So, Mirko, hey, just sit on the sideline, be a good cheerleader, cheer on the team to victory.
There you go. All right, big action here on Saturday, noon from the shoe. Ohio State, Michigan. You all know what it is. If you would like to continue this chit-chat in the comments, lay it on us. We're there. We'll be talking about it all week. We're going to keep it local, though. It's high school playoff time, as you all know. The Ohio High School State Athletic Association football playoffs are underway. Last weekend was the big weekend. It was the regional championships for all four regions in each division. Division 4, Steubenville was able to win that Division 4 region. Division 4 Region 15, I believe, so they'll be moving on to the Final Four. Division 3, Bloom Carroll took down Bishop Watterson, 33-28. Bishop Watterson threw a late interception, charging down the field with about 2 minutes left. So Bloom Carroll moving on to the Final Four. Out of Division 1, Gahanna-Lincoln got a big victory over New Albany, I believe. So Gahanna-Lincoln representing the Metro in Division 1. And I don't have my notes with me. I can't remember who Division 2 was. All right. So,
from the local teams, I mean, we still got Gahanna-Lincoln that's still rocking and rocking pretty good and rocking heavy. So shout out to those young men. Continue to keep rolling. And we got Springfield. They're still in the mix. Shout out to the Wildcats. But, hey, it's time to put up. Any given Friday night, got to get out there and continue to fight and remember what you came out there. And don't try to change the game up. It's big, big plays each and every time. So, hey, go hard or go home, guys.
That's right. Yep, it'll be the finals. So the state semifinals this weekend, and then the state finals, I think, 2 days after. So it's a big weekend in high school football around the block. So that does it for the OHSAA. Moving on to the big boys. I think those state championships are played up in Canton, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a nice segue.
Hall of Fame game.
The Hall of Fame field, the Hall of Fame game is awfully cool for those high schoolers. And so we'll drag it right into NFL Week 11. Man, I'm coming off a big Monday night. I went to bed right after George Kittle caught that touchdown. I was like, all right, cool. Woke up in the middle of the night, checked the score. All is good, 38-10. They are cruising. Jimmy G, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Man, they ran all over him. It's a cool event in Mexico City as well, playing at 7,200 feet. Man, is something different. Cardinals look bad. Colt McCoy doesn't look too bad, though.
Just didn't look that good.
Yep. There you go. That's well said. Notes from Week 11. So, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Dolphins are on 4-game win streaks. Dolphins had a bye week last week. Ravens, I would have liked some more points out of them. I put too much money on them, -12. They win by 10. And then the Chiefs, man, Chiefs doing what they do. They look good, looking like they're the best team in the league. The biggest news, our boy that ain't here, man, the Vikings just did not show up.
Hey, real quick, man.
Blown out.
I don't want to, dead air on air is bad, but let's just have a quick moment of silence for my man Bays. That's why he's not here, ladies and gentlemen. He's still mourning the loss of his beloved Vikings team. And we're going to give him his time and respect to continue to have that deep in his heart. So just a real quick second for those Vikings. And there we go. Just that fast. So
there we go. Good man.
Hey, just a couple weeks ago, he was riding high. Just last week, I don't know if you guys can recall, I was trying to tell him, hey, Baze, just calm down, man. Be humble. Be humble, Baze. Yep. He was feeling how Kurt was feeling when they got done with the Bills. Hey, man, we all have that day. And just so happened, 40-3 was that total.
Come back down to reality. That's a gut check for him. And Dallas looking good, man. Tony Pollard running all over them. So if the Vikings can't have that run defense, you're seeing the best teams in the NFL have strong run games, especially in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got a passing attack, but they can hammer it on the ground. San Francisco gets it done as well. So, potentially looking into the playoffs, those Dallas Cowboys too. So Vikings got their hands full for sure. And I got it on the bottom there. Titans running strong. Derrick Henry, that was a pretty good game Thursday night. Green Bay looked a little bit out of sorts. Maybe not enough credit to that Titans defense. And, constantly, San Francisco, they always talk, is Jimmy G holding back the 49ers? Man, Ryan Tannehill has had Tennessee as like the number one, top 3-4 seed the last few seasons. A lot of that's Derrick Henry. But, man, they got a stout roster. Vrabel's doing his thing. The Titans are, I think, 5-4 or 6-4 now. Looking pretty good off the back of Derrick Henry. So I was like to see that. That was a pretty good Thursday night game. Bills bounced back strong against Cleveland. That got moved to Detroit.
Yeah, that was another one of those games like you mentioned earlier about Baltimore where you would like to see a little bit more. They struggled out of the gate. Yep. The Bills did, and only putting up 13 points in the first half. And it seemed like the Browns, I guess sometimes because they're the Browns, we kind of take them for granted and think that they're just the old Browns or the busters of the AFC North. But, when you got Jadeveon Clowney coming off of one side, Myles Garrett coming off the other side, you still got Denzel Ward out in the back in the secondary. That's still a really good team, but it just wasn't enough to continue to push forward on that offensive side. They couldn't figure out a way to get points because their defense was holding the Bills, but it wasn't enough on the offensive side to continue to push down and get those guys out the way.
Yep.
I'm not impressed by what I've seen by the Bills playing against the Browns.
Yeah, Bills look like they got some holes for sure. And it 31-23, Buffalo beats Cleveland. It wasn't that close. Cleveland snuck in a garbage time TD, which I'm thankful for because that helped me cash a 6-point teaser, which I was grateful for. Special teams, we mentioned it before we got in here. Special teams is always crucial. It's going to play a big part in that game on Saturday with Michigan in town. New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, one thing he always does is have special teams in order. And what came up big for the New England Patriots in a snooze fest, 3-3, the Jets make a bonehead move, punt it to the returner. Punt return touchdown, basically a walk-off for the Patriots. 10-3. Unders hit there. That was a boring game. But special teams, man.
You don't like a defensive game. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you don't like defensive game.
I do. I just didn't watch it. And you know me, I like Robert Saleh, but watching Zach Wilson out there struggle around, Mac Jones struggles a little bit.
I think that was more what it was, just a sorry offensive production by Zach Wilson, and he's pretty much losing his job at the moment.
Yep.
But I think that defense of New England, they're the strong side. So you got Mac Jones on one side. Matt Jones, or what is it? Is it Matt Jones too? No, it's not Matt Jones.
Who?
For New England.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Smack him around Jones.
Yeah. So the Jones boys just stunk up the whole entire Sunday, but it still should be. I think he just ran up against a Belichick type defense, and I think people are giving the Jets a little bit too much credit, and we're finally seeing how it goes when it goes sour.
All right, fair enough. We'll see what the Jets can put together. Detroit takes care of the Giants. Not a lot else to note coming from that. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Cincinnati took care of business for the most part. Slowly, I'll let Pittsburgh sneak in a late one, but Cincinnati's defense going to have to step up a little bit if they want to make a run like they did last year. Atlanta, Chicago. Atlanta should have scored. I thought they should have taken care of the Bears a little bit more. Justin Fields with a banged-up shoulder. We'll see how he comes out of it. And, the other news, Zach Wilson may be losing his job. And we'll see from there. We'll see if Kyler's healthy this weekend, if Colt McCoy gets a shot. So, a couple big performances, especially if you're on that fantasy football side of things. If you had Tony Pollard on your team, you probably won. Devontae Adams showed back up. Treylon Burks had 111 yards receiving. Let's see. T. Higgins had a big one.
Yeah.
Buck 50. Patty Mahomes did his thing. So, let's hit it. Let's get into Big Bad Ballers of the Week. And we got our guy back in the building. Jared Bays is here. We will throw a quick commercial break. We'll get him in a seat. Pull up his mic. We'll be back in like 2 minutes. Hey, there you go. Yeah. Speaking of, Coach Howard's show just aired last Sunday on Yamo Media Network. So here is a quick clip from the Coach Howard show. Enjoy this while we get Jared set up. We'll be right back.
The 4 state champions last year came out of this event. And that's phenomenal to see 4 teams go on, start with us, and go on and win and capture it all.
And those 4 teams, by the way, will be back in it again next week. The 4 state champions, Richmond Heights out of Cleveland, Ohio, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary out of Akron, Pickerington Central from Pickerington, Ohio, and Cincinnati Taft out of Cincinnati.
Again, it's Saturday, and the venue takes place at both Reynoldsburg high schools, and we kick in at 11 o'clock at Reynoldsburg Livingston with International and Northside Christian. An interesting game. Northside Christian is trying to get themselves ready for the City League North, and this is a good chance for them to do that. And then when you look at some of the games at the other sites, you've got Centennial and Upstart program trying to prove what they can do in the City League North against an always scrappy Whitehall. And then as you go down, the games beef up. You've got, Youngstown, Cheney going against Grove City. Grove City kind of found themselves last year and had a pretty respectable year. I think that's a good challenge for both teams. As we go down, you got Independence, Northland, Dayton, Dunbar. Like that matchup. It's an intriguing matchup. Tahan's trying to get Northland, rebooted over there. And I think that's a good test for them, in the hometown. Again, Dayton, Wayne, Akron, Buchtel. Hey, those are teams with good Laurent Rice, probably one of the premier, senior guards in the state. And, Buchtel, they're going to bring it because they Buchtel. So you got some good games. And then as you rise down the chart, okay, you got Cincinnati Taft, another state champion going against Akron Hoban. Just good basketball. Harvest Prep, Richmond Heights, 2 teams that go deep into the tournament every year. That's a great game. And then, Afrocentric, Lutheran East. I mean, you can't get a better early season matchup than that. And, but those games are over at Livingston. Then when you go, you got Pickerington Central going against Spire Academy, a high school entertaining some prep school action. Devin Royal, one of the finest forwards in the land, be on display. So it's going to be good. Reynoldsburg, hey, they're taking on Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. Andy Moore does a great job coaching. That's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that game.
So you've just went through the list. Which game would you think would be the one that people need to really watch on Saturday? Give me one game. If you was to say one game of both sites, give me the best game at Summit and the best game at Reynoldsburg. They're all good games, but there's got to be one.
They're great games. The game that's really intriguing to me is the Pick Central Spire Academy. I mean, that's some highlight stuff. Spire Academy is a prep school. Pick Central's a defending state champion, and they have quite a roster over there at Pick Central.
So what about Livingston?
Livingston, when you look at that, I like the Harvest Prep game, and I also like the Walnut Ridge Westerville Central. Dom Akins is just very electric with his game. He can get all over the place. Just a great little guard.
Welcome back to That's Debatable. Thanks for tuning in and being patient with us. We got our guy back in the building finally. Welcome to the show, Jeremiah.
It didn't look too good. I couldn't avoid the show, man, after a beatdown like Sunday.
Gotta get here.
So many reasons why I couldn't miss tonight's show, whether if it's 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. What's up, family? How y'all doing?
Everybody is good. It's time. Ballers of the week. Just wrapping up week 11 talk. So, I'm going to hit it off with mine. I mentioned his name briefly. Big Devontae Adams getting back at it. Mainly, he's got that walk-off 35-yarder, 7 catches, 141, and 2 touchdowns. Also, the Raiders get their win. Raiders' first win in a one-score game, taking care of their division opponent, the Denver Bad Broncos. And I don't know, DA's a great receiver, but man, that was just blown coverage on that walk-off. He had the entire right third of the field by himself. But anyway, DA got it done, taking care of business, getting himself back on the board, helping you win your fantasy leagues as well. So, who's up next? Will, take us with it.
And mine happens to be nobody else but the guy TP, the one that ran the ball and caught it in the backfield. That guy right there, my man Tony Pollard, 15 carries, 80 yards each and every time, 5.3 average, 6 receptions, 109 yards. Got 2 touchdowns, both of them in the air. He ran the ball down to the goal line, but they let my man Zeke, shout out to the Buckeyes own Zeke. They let Zeke punch him. Whoa. Everything's falling down right now. But they let Zeke punch him in, but Tony Pollard was definitely out of the backfield, getting every single open like Devontae was. I seen my man Pollard. He was open a few times.
I don't know why linebackers was matched up on dude. But
they weren't really matched up. Yeah,
he was smoking both touchdown passes. Shout out to Pollard.
Hey, you seen the speed of Pollard. You seen the elusiveness. A couple of times he got inside of a pile, spun out. It was just looking very nice for Pollard, and that's why he's my baller of the week.
He also helped you win your fantasy leagues, showing up big time. Jeremiah, who you got?
So I wasn't really impressed with what was going on in the NFL this weekend. So, it was another big upset. So shout out to that man. He didn't transfer and he been counted out. But shout out to that man, Spencer Rattler, man. He balled out. He put it on Tennessee. Also, hit a hooker towards ACL. Hopefully he could bounce back. And he's supposed to be going to the draft next year. On the Tennessee side, it's kind of tough for that. He had a great season, Heisman favorite. But Spencer Rattler balled out. 30 completions out of 37 attempts, 81.1 percentage, 438 yards, 6 touchdowns, and quarterback rating of 234. It's a little different in college than what it is in the NFL. But he definitely almost threw a perfect game. And he was just, the Volunteers was coming in hot. If the Volunteers won out, they could possibly still be in that playoff spot. And Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks put an end to that. So shout out to that man. He was my baller of the week.
Man,
You showed up.
it was so bad for you on Sunday that you couldn't even pick anybody in NFL. But yes, Spencer did do his
100%.
thinking. But yeah, I feel your pain, man. I'm still praying for you.
I feel my pain for what? Our records, we could get into the Vikings when we want to.
Yeah, we got to get back to
We
it.
ain't talking about it. I wasn't here to talk about the game. I didn't see y'all.
Oh, don't worry. It ain't much to talk about.
It ain't much to talk about. That's all right.
Just gloss over it.
Yeah,
You can mention it.
Flush that shit down the toilet and move on to Thursday night.
That's exactly
There you
right.
go.
Short-term memory loss, that's a lot of how you got it. I mean, because if you play golf, you know that. Short-term memory loss, you shank one into the woods, you got to get that out of your mind and recover. So Ballers of the Week is individual performances. So let's talk about the team performances. We're going to hit them with Big Willie's top 10.
Yay. So,
We'll discuss a little bit.
hey.
What's going on, Will? Shake it down.
So, as we know, we got 10 teams, and these 10 teams are some of the best of the NFL. And starting at number 10, we're going to start right here. No further. Don't got to look no further. Came off of the bench, bringing them Cincinnati Bengals off of the bench into the top 10. Go ahead and roll that B-roll for me, Mr. Producer Man. Got Cincinnati Bengals. You see they were unranked last week because one, they were on a bye week. Two, they didn't play the best to be in this top list. But coming off a bye, they did come and beat the Squillers as we knew they would, 37-30.
Shootout, but okay.
Yeah, shootout. They got a touchdown at the end of the game, but my man Joe B was shooting them up, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns. Got to fix those 2 interceptions because he did throw it in their direction a couple of times. J.J. Watt had one of the best plays, or T.J. Watt, not J.J. T.J. Watt had one of the best interceptions that you would probably ever see from a lineman, from a player, period. But Joe B did hook up with T. Higgins, 9 for 148. P. Rhyme was looking like a junior Tony Pollard. He had 4 for 52 yards, 3 touchdowns, and got the dub. Next, they got coming up the Titans at Tennessee, so that should be a big one. They got the Chiefs in Cincinnati, got the Browns, who we got to get knocked out, and then they got Tampa Bay
With
and
Deshaun
Tampa
Watson.
Bay. Yeah, so gonna keep on rolling. We got Miami. They coming off a bye week, probably real refreshed. They got the Texans coming up, got the 49ers, got the Chargers, and they have the Bills. So we'll see if Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Tua, can they continue to keep rolling. At this point of the season, it's going to be very important that they get these crucial wins because the AFC is really tight, but they are looking hot. Like we already said, they're on a 4-game win streak. So can they continue? We shall see. At number 8, and it's going to shock a lot of people right here, but at number 8, I put this team here because I wasn't impressed, as I said earlier. But at number 8, I do have the Bills Mafia sitting here. They got moved from out of that blizzard into a dome, and it just didn't seem like they shook off the snow because they started off slow. Like I said earlier, they put up 13 points in the first half. Allen only threw for 197 yards. Singletary and Cook both rushed for 86 yards apiece. And it just didn't seem like they could figure out how to score too many points. So they got coming up, they once again in Detroit, they got the Patriots at Foxborough. They got the Jets, and then they have Miami. So 2 conference games. They're going to have to get their stuff together. We're starting to see a lot of holes in their defense. If you're a top-tier offense, I think you can have a good day against that defense right now.
Just ask Kirk Cousins.
Hey,
He
that's
did.
debatable, my guy.
Hey, well, he saw the game.
So at number 7, speaking of Kirk Cousins, we do have him entering at this very spot right here. They did take a horrific loss, 40-3, losing to the Cowboys. Coming up into Minnesota, they got the Pats, they got the Jets, they got to go to Detroit, and they got the Colts. This past week, Kirk Cousins only threw for 105 yards. This offensive production was missing from that team. The best receiver in the game only had 3 catches for 33 yards. Cook only rushed for 11 rushes for 72 yards. So that offense, of course, you see by the 3 that was put up, the offenses were missing. And this is more of the team what I expected. Not like my counterpart over here. He expected them to have high praises, but when you face a high top-tier defense as Micah Parsons and Diggs and whoever else was want to get a piece of Kurt that day, they got a piece of him, and they just couldn't get anything going. Kurt was throwing balls into the dirt. So they still are 8-2, top of the NFC North.
Second in the NFC.
Second in NFC for now. But we'll see if they can bounce back. Like I said, they got the Pats, Jets, Lions, and the Colts coming up. At number, 6, we got the Titans. Big bad Titans. They did steamroll the Green Bay Packers 27-17. Up next, they got the Bengals. They got to go to Philly. They got the Jags, and they got the Chargers. Teddy Hill did light the sky up. He was 22 for 27 for 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran on the back of Derrick Henry, 28 attempts for 87 yards, 1 touchdown. And Traylon Burks, 111 yards. Excuse me. Their defense is standing real strong. That's the one thing I think they can rely on. So we'll see if Cincinnati can tame the run game, but it seemed like they're starting to pick up momentum. So we already know they're going to ride on Henry's back. Somehow Cincinnati has to stop it, and the rest of the AFC or that team is going to be scary. So at number 5, I got the Ravens. They took care of business against the Panthers, didn't put up a lot of points. Up next, they got the Jags at Jacksonville. They got Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and then they got to go to Atlanta. Or they're at home against Atlanta, excuse me. So Lamar Jackson's got to get it together. He didn't really do too much. Duvernay was still – they were all missing. It just didn't seem like that was the usual team, but the defense looked phenomenal, only allowing Baker Mayfield to his offense to get 3 points. At number 4, I got the Cowboys. It's not much that need to be said about them. Tony Pollard looked good. Dak Prescott was making the right plays at the right time, hitting the right spots. He hit CeeDee Lamb for a couple of phenomenal catches on the sideline. It's just a toe tap. But up next, they got another test of their division. They got the Giants. They got to play the Colts. They got the Texans, and then they got the Jags. So they may be to get all 4 of those. Up next, at number 3, I got my man Rye's team, the 49ers, who are starting to continue to mature. They've been looking great. Jimmy G put up 4 touchdowns. They beat Arizona 38-10. And up next, they got the Saints, a big game against the Dolphins. They got the Bucks, and then they have the Seahawks. But they got, what's his name? Damador, how you say his name?
Deommodore
Lenoir and Fred Warner. Those guys, man, on that defense, that's the reason they're standing tall. George Kittle and
Nicky Bosa.
Oh yeah, I mean that defense is that the long list of that defense is strong. So in the NFC, I think they have a good chance to continue to knock off. Maybe if it's Philly, maybe it's Dallas, maybe it's the Vikings, but we got to put a lot of thought into putting the San Francisco 49ers up on that list. At number 2, I got the Eagles, who squeaked out a win 16-17 against Indianapolis. Jalen Hurts finally got into the end zone with only a few minutes left in that game. So I said a few weeks ago, if you want to run against those guys, protect the ball first of all. We seen Jonathan Taylor cough the ball up at the end of that game, but they can be beat. Up next, they have the Packers, they have Tennessee, they got the Giants, and they have the Bears. So I think 2 of those 4 games, they're going to struggle and see if they can squeak out a win there. And then at number 1, he's back, man. Patty Mack himself, Travis Kelce is back. I hear Jay Will and Keyshawn, they continue to talk about the weapons of Kansas City. They continue to bring up Tyreek's Hill, but, man, we in week 11 and still bringing up Tyreek. You still got guys, you know,
it's receiver by committee.
It's receiver by
But
committee.
they got the most important person, Travis Kelce.
But when you can get the ball back with 146, drive downfield in 7 plays, and still score a touchdown against a defense with the Chargers that's not really that bad, I mean, it shows each and every time that they're posed and composed, and the coaching staff put the right plays. And I guess when you got a field general in Patty Mack, you can do those type of things. But they're starting to look scary, and the whole AFC, the whole NFC, the whole entire NFL need to be unaware because those guys are hot right now. So that's my top 10. Of course, chop it up, screw it up, spit it out, my guy.
Excellent.
Do it with it.
Excellent work, Will. All right, Jer, 60 seconds. Fire back.
All right. Not too many changes, but you know, with some changes. Number 10, keep Cincy at 10. I don't disagree with you there.
Yep.
Tennessee's not the 6th best team. I got them at I'll just move them to 9. Miami at 8. Buffalo stay at 7. I'm with you there. San Francisco at 6. They are getting hot. I ain't know between San Francisco and Baltimore. I like San Fran. I like Lamar, but San Francisco and Baltimore at 5 and 6. Baltimore's at 5. And, of course, I'm not knocking off my Minnesota Vikings at all. That was an ugly game, I'll give you that. Kevin O'Connell, rookie head coach. So if your running back got 11 carries for 72 yards, that means you need to make him have at least 28 to 34 carries to see how much he could have took the air off the football and not rely on Kirk. And not even about relying on Kirk. He never even had time to pass the goddamn ball. I make fun of Micah Parsons, but he did his thing in that whole line. But I'm not going to fall off my Vikings. And because Dallas did pull out the belt, we ain't gonna make our curfew. We ain't make it home in time. I guess it was too much celebrating in Buffalo. So they brought the belt and whooped our ass. So I put them at 3. We might see them again, maybe not. Philly at 2 and KC at 1. Just don't count out the Vikings. A lot of people didn't even count them in, and now that loss happened, they really gonna count them out.
Yep, you bet.
It ain't over with. It ain't over with.
I do like that. It's don't drop the Vikings too much. Dropped them too much. we'll wait and see. That's the next couple of weeks going to be big time. And this, middle of the season, I heard one former NFL player mention it today, was that Thanksgiving break is always when your bodies really start to hurt, really start to feel is the time, when the teams start separating. So the next few weeks moving forward, going to be crucial. Speaking of the next few weeks, let's get into NFL Week 12. Oh, excellent. Real quick, before I jump into NFL Week 12, I will make a quick announcement here on the Yamo Media Network. Next week on the Yamo Media Sports Network, we'll be broadcasting the Upper Arlington and St. Charles hockey game. We'll be live from the Ice House down near Nationwide Arena. Friday night, December 2nd, 6 p.m. puck drop, I believe. I will be on the play call. I think Travis is doing the color. So we'll have the whole crew down there. Things will be live on the Yamo Media channel, so check us out next Friday night. It's a rematch of last year's final in the Capital Hockey Conference, Upper Arlington and St. Charles. Good high school hockey here in the state of Ohio. It's hockey season. We've touched on it a little bit. Blue Jackets are struggling, so we might mention that at the end of the show when we bring back hockey. But next week in the NFL, getting back to it, it's Week 12. The main thing we got coming up is Thanksgiving Day. That'll spread things out a little bit. The Monday night matchup, you have to wait a few days. Pittsburgh at the Colts. And my San Francisco 49ers got the New Orleans Saints. It's in San Francisco. San Francisco's an 8-point favorite. Feels kind of like a trap game, but I'm not real sure. New Orleans isn't very good. I don't know why I'd be worried about it.
It's not a trap game,
right? I don't know why I got that in my head, but anyway, Miami gets back in action. They're huge. There's some huge favorites this week. Miami's a big favorite over Houston. Kansas City's a huge favorite over the Rams. Excuse me. And we got those question marks like Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. We'll see what happens there. Hey, Colt McCoy might just keep plugging away in Arizona.
Justin Fields
Even
may
if Kyler
be
comes
out.
back. Yep. So
Non-throwing
something
shoulder.
crazy about Saquon Barkley interested in trying to sign with Chicago.
Wow.
I'm like, man, all of that just to be second in the NFC North to the Vikings.
Got to make it tough,
Sorry,
man.
division,
Give
though.
Justin Fields some weapons.
there's a couple bad games.
I don't believe in Eberflus
you got the Bears at the Jets. That won't be that great.
because of
Plus-
Zach Wilson. The Jets' defense is stellar, though. Sauce might catch a pick. You never know.
And he's a lot of fun to watch. The other one, Denver at Carolina, gross.
Nah, that game's
Atlanta at
nasty.
Washington. I'm anxious to see Cincinnati at Tennessee. They got a tough match rolling into Tennessee, man.
Yeah,
worried?
I would say the defense needs to step up. Well, they did get DJ Reader back this past week, so that helped out. Logan Wilson has to step up, but it's a lot of those throw-up balls that Eli Apple has to adjust to, and he has to adjust quickly to them. Sometimes you just got to get your head around. It seems like he's looking more at the hands of the receiver and not looking for the ball and turning around. I've seen a couple of times that Pickens got a couple of balls that
Pick it to Pickens.
yeah, it was a couple of times where he could have got around and knocked it down, but he let that receiver get the ball. So, of course, Jesse Bates and Von Bell, they have to step in that secondary and come downhill quick when it comes to Derrick Henry. But it's not going to be easy. But I think they can get a win. But one good note, Jamar Chase did return to practice. He may not be available this week, but he is getting ready. So
That's what we need.
Off of what, crutches? No, he out of a boot or off of crutches. They said or something like that.
yeah,
That's what we need him back. We're getting towards those fantasy football playoffs. Week 12, so you should have about 3 weeks left making those final pushes. Trade deadlines, most of them are passed. So speaking of fantasy lineups, it's Thanksgiving week. So we got Thanksgiving coming up here in 2 days. That's one of the best traditions there is. It's one of the best days
Just
for
need my
the
Thanksgiving
NFL.
night.
3 games. Thanksgiving Day starting at 12:30, 4:30, and 8:20. And if my guy can pull me up a lower third, I've got a couple games on there with some point spreads. And so I put together a little Thanksgiving Day teaser. So you got the Bills minus 9.5. Cowboy. So the Bills are playing. They're at Detroit.
So they stayed in Detroit.
Yep.
Stayed in Detroit.
They flew back actually, and they're going to fly back. So Bills minus 9.5. I actually like Detroit getting 9.5. But this
they
teaser
run
we can
Swift
put
and Williams.
together. Yeah. New York Giants at Dallas. Dallas a 9-point favorite, and then New England at Minnesota. Minnesota 2.5-point favorite. So what I did was took a 6.5-point teaser. So I teased the Bills down to -3. I got the Cowboys down to -2.5. And then I actually got the New England Patriots getting +9. I'm not real sure about that. You could have teased the Vikings the other way to get 3.5. I think the Vikings win, but short week, Belichick, all those good things. I'm taking the points on that game.
Did you watch?
I'll take the other two favorites.
Watch
to
the
take.
Patriots play the Jets. You see that it came down to a punt return with 5 seconds left.
Yeah, 9 points. I'll take it.
Mac and cheese.
Minnesota. How many of Minnesota's games have been one score? 8 of them.
I mean, if this game is one score, I'm gonna have to call Kevin O'Connell.
So we're gonna hang on to that.
Man, I am worried about Judon.
Hey, that first game, the Bills against Detroit, that's my surprise pick of the week. I did take Detroit. I'm a straight up and down guy. I take the straight up bet. No half points or whatever. I'm taking straight. Detroit upset the Bills.
Detroit Lions money line. Let's look at it real quick. Detroit is plus 330. So you wager $10, you win 33 if the Detroit Lions win straight up. But Thanksgiving Day, man, it's one of the best days to watch football. You got it all day long, chilling with the family. For those hard bodies out there, we'll be at the gym Thursday morning before you get fat. So come on down and see us.
Team Hardbody ENT still does reign supreme.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for, my guy Will. But set your fantasy lineups early. That Thursday game comes early. It's Tuesday night waiver wires tonight. It's must-win time in your fantasy leagues. So make sure and check your lineups before Thursday at noon because there's 3 games in play and a lot of superstars. Keep an eye on that. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, garbage because I had Williams on my bench and Swift in my lineup, and that didn't do me well.
Yeah, you got to flip it around, put Jamal Williams in.
Well, he gets the touchdown. Swift might get the yards.
Dude, right. But so that 6.5-point teaser, Buffalo -3, Dallas -2.5, New England +9.5. What did I do? I threw 40 on that to win 53. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. And if you like sports betting, hit me up on Twitter at Ryan's Fingers. The World Cup is underway. We can talk some sports betting about that. But before I get there,
There's something crazy just happened. Like Argentina just lost to
Saudi Arabia this morning.
And the odds was like just crazy.
Saudi Arabia was a big underdog, one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history. So, it's time to get back into soccer, Americans.
Yeah.
So
They compared it to like if Alabama was to lose to Coastal Carolina. I'm like, is that really how big of a gap it is between these countries?
bet, dude.
I guess so.
They had a question from the chat before we go. Miles Goodart asked, do you start Kirk or do you start A-Rod?
Who does the Rodgers play?
Green Bay
has
has Philadelphia.
Definitely start Kirk. I don't know. He got a little thing with Christian Watson going. You might be able to get some stuff, but I would say start
Green
Kirk.
Bay's going to be playing from behind. They throw it more if Philly's got the lead. Philly's run defense is bad, so Green Bay's going to have to hammer the ground game, which opens up for play action, some things like that.
Jimmy G game
Flip
plan. I told
a
you.
coin, take Rodgers.
We do know that Kirk did struggle with Michael Parsons, and I'm slipping the name of the defensive end for
It's Judon.
It's Judon,
I can't
correct.
think of his first name, but
and
it's
he
Judon.
has the number 1 sacks leader in the NFL right now.
Matthew Judon.
So, like you said, flip a coin, but
Yeah, Christian Darrisaw is hurt. The Vikings left tackle.
Green Bay, start Rodgers. That's my
I think
take.
you might want to look for another pick. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what
I
you
wouldn't
got.
start either. How about that? Because the Rodgers, I don't know if his stats is going to be good. Because I know the Packers is probably
it.
going to lose. I would like for the upset.
Fantasy points, it's tough to.
But we did see how
a lot of
the
people's free
Philadelphia secondary did
Rodgers.
get beat up by Washington a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And they didn't really do good
look good
against.
last week either.
That's what I was going to say. They didn't really look good against the Colts. The Colts just
Fighting
couldn't
Jeff
finish.
Saturdays. Yeah.
So
Dude,
I don't know.
Jacoby Brissett had 26 fantasy points last weekend. So
Yeah,
crazy
shout out to
things
Mark
happen.
Cooper. He came through for me.
Daniel Jones. I had to start him in the league. He had a rushing touchdown. He's sneaky with those rushing yards. Who in there? Good art. So Daniel Jones, I think he 40, 50 rushing yards, some things like that. But any other Week 12 notes? Any other games you guys are looking for? I'm anxious to see Miami get back in action, see if they can blow out Houston. They're looking good.
Rod's fingers broke.
And I just want to. Oh, Roger's got a broken finger. All right, well.
Allegedly.
See, and he still gets it done. So, last thing I want to talk about, the World Cup is in play. If my guy will throw up my World Cup lower third. So, for those out there, it's group play. There's about another week of group play. There's 4 games a day, 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m., and 2 p.m. USA yesterday had a draw against Wales. They were up 1-0 into about the 80th minute. Had a garbage PK, so Wales ended up tying it 1-1. So USA gets 1 point out of that. They are in the 4 teams in Group B are England, the United States, Wales, and Iran. England beat Iran the day before. So England has 3 points. USA and Wales each have 1. Iran was 0. Top 2 teams advance out of the group play and move on. And if you're into sports betting, there's all sorts of action tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Let's see. You got Morocco and Croatia, I think. Let me pull that one up. Yeah, Morocco and Croatia at 5 a.m., Germany and Japan at 8. So there's lots of good action.
The USA lose. They was talking about them in a bad way earlier.
They drew against Wales yesterday, and then on Friday, USA has got England, and England is a powerhouse. So we got a tough matchup Friday at 2 p.m. So USA, you can see it right there. If you're tuning into USA Soccer, I think it's on Fox and FS1. Tomorrow, for those of you out there, I do like the Germany and Japan over 2.5. CBS Early Edge. Check out that podcast. Also hit me up on Twitter. Let's talk sports betting. What else you guys got? It's 10 p.m. We about to roll. We thank all of you for tuning in with us.
Appreciate you.
That's Debatable After Dark.
Well, I mean, we could end with what we're all thankful for, but I just want to. Ohio State's going to fucking win the game. I'm sorry. I'm tired of the Michigan talk. I was talking big trash last year, and it kind of bit me in the butt, but not this time. OHIO, we're going to get it done. And Stroud, if you lose, you will be like my least favorite Buckeye quarterback of all time, even behind Todd Beckman or Beckham, whatever number 17 was. You remember him?
Nope.
That's the dude that lost to Michigan last time. Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, JT Barrett was my least favorite Buckeye quarterback, and he never lost to Michigan. So, CJ, with all this high praise, Mr. Might Be first overall pick, get the goddamn job done.
There we go.
Get Marvin Harrison. Everybody show the hell up, please. I cannot take another year of this Michigan. We beat you. I can't take another year, man. I can't. All right, that's all.
No worries, man. Hakuna Matata.
And
Don't
we're-
worry about that.
I mean, they finally won, so I know they're capable.
And actually, we're going to combine it because we're skipping Superman capes tonight, but we're not because all 3 of us caping for the Buckeyes.
Oh, yeah. Put my cape on. for the
CJ
Buckeyes.
Stroud, Marvin Harrison. You said
Buka.
it, Tommy Eichenberg. Abuka showed
That's
up
my
big.
favorite receiver.
So put a
I
big
know they
old,
love Marvin,
put a big
but
old
Ibuka's
Blocko
mine.
right on there.
Acorn.
Put that cape on, Ohio State Buckeyes. Get it done this weekend against that team from up north. Tune into the USA England match
come to
on
the shoe,
Friday. Buckeyes men's basketball in action tomorrow.
They just lost last night.
They beat Cincinnati 85 to 50. Or today they beat them
Yesterday,
85-59.
San Diego State. They lost to San Diego State.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So Buckeye men's basketball, to quickly wrap it up, they lose to SDSU yesterday. They beat Cincinnati earlier today. Tomorrow they got a tough matchup against Texas Tech, who's got one of the top 10 defenses in the country. So Buckeyes got their handful out there at the Maui Invitational in Hawaii. But enjoy the sunshine, boys, and let's get it done here on Saturday. With that, that's Debatable. I'm Ryan Dietrich.
No thankfuls?
Oh, yeah, take it out.
It is the Thanksgiving episode.
Good man, thank you.
One quick thankful.
I'm thankful for you reminding me of what the hell I'm supposed to do up here, buddy.
I'm weak. But you're welcome.
Take it away.
Man. Year 2 of That's Debatable. Same stuff. I'm thankful for you guys. Thankful to have Big A in the background. I mean, he was always in the background, is what people don't know, but this time he's more hands on. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Big A. And just thankful for the family. This year for me has been real tough, and I'm just thankful for you guys and how y'all been right there riding with me, and we just gonna keep going forward.
Well said. Will?
Hey, same, man. Thankful for family. Thankful for the opportunities that we get each and every day. Thankful for life because, never take advantage of just life in general. Some people don't have the opportunities. They wake up. Some people don't wake up. So I'm thankful for just continue to be able to do what we do, man. And hopefully we can continue to rock and roll and continue to grow.
That's right. Gotta have an attitude of gratitude. This Thanksgiving, help do the cooking, help clean the house, take care of your family, and have a good Thanksgiving, folks. And tune into That's Debatable every Tuesday night, 8-ish p.m. We appreciate you. Hit us up on the socials. Have a good night. Be safe.
I'm gonna troll my Vikings.